Welcome to the Boxing Talk Show.
Fair but firm.
With the Hall of Fame boxing referee.
I'm Joe Cortez.
And co-host John Zamel for all of Las Vegas.
Come on, guys. Let's touch them up. 3 fight. I'm Joe Cortez. Fair but firm. Hello, and welcome to the Fair but Firm Show here with Joe Cortez and my co-host John Zimmer here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the boxing capital of the world. Wow, am I a happy man today?
Are you?
Oh, yeah, very happy. You know, things are really looking up, and
it's good.
The boxing game tonight, we have some great fights tonight on Showtime.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And I'm looking forward to that. Gervonta Davis versus Hugo Ruiz. R-U-I-Z. Ruiz.
Before we get into that, I'm excited for last week still, man. I'm still buzzing off of those fights.
Oh, yeah, so am I. I mean, that fight last week was really amazing when you got the former light heavyweight champion of the world making that comeback. He made it. He got his title back.
It was nice to see him with his hand raised again. You know? Sergey Kovalev, former light heavyweight unified champion, former Ring Magazine light heavyweight champion, former, number 2 pound for pound, former Ring Fighter of the Year. Yeah. Went through a little bit of a spiraled out, and then it was good to see him back with a belt around his waist and his hand in the air. That was nice.
You know, I always say, even if you lose, you're not a loser. You only lose when you quit. Mm-hmm. And that's he refused to lose. He came back. A lot of champions, what make fighters great is when they go down, and I tell you, even in real life, you get knocked down, get back up. That means that you're not going to take the full count. You're going to get back up and continue. I believe that in all walks of life, not only boxing, you have to get back up. Don't give up on yourself. You're only a loser when you quit.
Absolutely, but especially in boxing, because you look at the most iconic fights, you look at the most iconic fighters, they're usually guys who were knocked. I mean, even as far as like Rocky, you look at Anthony Joshua. When did he make his name? When he got knocked down by Klitschko, got up and hit and fought him again. Yeah. You look at, Andre Ward, his most iconic moment, getting knocked down against Kovalev and getting up and fighting.
Even Lomachenko, he got knocked down by Jorge Linares.
And what did happen?
He came up and stopped.
Exactly.
There's so much, I mean, you don't give up.
It's not just about not ever getting knocked down.
Right.
There's only one Floyd Mayweather ever, and that's the only guy that and even he got knocked down.
Yeah, even Muhammad Ali, the greatest, got knocked
fights. Down. Yes.
Yeah, so it doesn't mean that you're a loser.
No, it's about getting up again more than just
and keep going forward.
Absolutely.
Like in that Rocky movie when Sylvester tells his son, it's about getting up. Yeah. Don't get down. Don't stay down. Keep going forward. You can do it.
Yeah.
And make you feel.
Oh,
like,
exactly. That was the best part when in the last Creed movie when I saw him get knocked down. I got so excited. I was like, I cannot wait to see him come back from this. It's going to be extra exciting. That's what makes this sport so beautiful.
Exactly. That's what we're talking about, guys out there listening. We have to make sure that no matter what happens in life, and especially in the game of boxing, don't give up. And so tonight you got Gervonta Davis fighting Hugo Ruiz. Now tell me the little story about Hugo Ruiz. He was supposed to fight.
Hugo Ruiz fought on the undercard of the Manny Pacquiao-Adrian Broner fight,
right.
Maybe 3 weeks ago, we were sitting in this room talking about that fight was happening that night. And we kind of mentioned, because you were in there for the weigh-in, that there was a guy who missed weight by like 5 pounds, like an insane amount, a Filipino fighter. I can't remember his name, Tepi, something like that.
Yeah.
And so he had to get replaced. He was supposed to fight Hugo Ruiz. Right. And so then he just decided there's no way he was going to lose 5 pounds. So he just, vacated it, and then somebody else came, and Hugo Ruiz put him down in a few rounds. And then now, 3 weeks later, because Abner Mares suffered a detached cornea, or retina, I'm sorry, it's probably going to be, it could be career-ending, it's a very serious injury, his second one. Now they had to find a last-week replacement for Abner Mares against Gervonta Davis, and they grabbed Hugo Ruiz. So he's for the second week, twice in a month, they'll be fighting a guy that he wasn't planning on fighting. Yeah. And the results might be different, but either way, what a warrior stepping up. He's going up in weight too. He's fought at 122 most of his last few fights. Finally fought at 126 once, and that was 3 weeks ago. And now he's going up to 130, literally 3 weeks later, which is kind of insane.
Yeah, he's fighting a guy, Tank.
That's his name,
Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis. He had some problem yesterday with the weigh-in.
Yes, sir, he did.
But it was like a pound and a quarter, whatever it was, and he come back 2 hours later, he made the weight.
Yeah, it took his third try, but that happens sometimes. What matters is he made it.
Yeah, but sometimes when you have to knock off, even if it's a pound and a half, a day before the fight, that you got to drain your body more. That can have an effect on you.
Oh, yeah.
People may not think so, but a pound and a half, but again, the Tank, he's used to that.
Yeah.
He fluctuates with his weight so much.
He absolutely does.
I really think he's going to have to end up fighting at 135.
Eventually, yeah, I agree with you. I think, because he's still young, he's 24. Yeah. And I think they want to make, they want to, have a normal progression on weight classes with but he's a big kid. He's a big guy,
He's
and
big,
he missed weight.
He's big in
famously.
weight. He's big. He's a tank, but he's not tall.
He's not tall at all. no.
I'm gonna invent a machine that lay these fighters down and get them and stretch them,
Stretch
and
them
pull
out a little bit?
and pull them up.
That's smart.
And give him a couple of 2 or 3 more inches.
Man, if he was 5'9", he'd be
Yeah, he would be
prime welterweight.
Oh my God, but
He's a little guy, but he is very powerful. He's got. I mean, we're talking about a guy who fights at 130 pounds, who has a 95% knockout rating, knockout
he
percentage.
knocked out 19 of 20 opponents.
That's amazing.
So I mean, the guy definitely is a puncher. He's gonna go in there tonight, and Ruiz got to be on his bicycle or doing a lot of
He
movement.
better do something, man. And I
Because-
like Hugo Ruiz, and I like that he's taller, and I want to see how
The best way for him not to get hit is don't show up.
just don't show up. Just stay at home.
Stay home, man, because you're gonna get your butt punched
Yeah,
around by
he
this
is,
guy.
though.
Unless you use the good boxing technique of hit and don't get hit.
Yeah.
Like Floyd Mayweather.
Like Tank's mentor,
Yeah. You gotta be out there moving. Slipping.
Also, we've seen some guys who are very good, and they get tripped up by that height advantage.
Yeah.
They're not used to it. We saw it with Isaac Dogbe in his last fight against the other gentleman.
You saw it with Deontay Wilder with Tyson Fury.
Sometimes you're not used to punching up, and all of a sudden you have to. And so Gervonta, most guys he fights are a little bigger than him. He's like Mike Tyson in that way.
Yeah.
He's more stocky than anything.
Exactly.
But Hugo Ruiz is quite a bit taller than him, and it's going to be fun. Even though he's smaller, which he is naturally,
And he weighs,
he's going to be. It's going to be a stretch punching 5.5 inches up or whatever it is.
But only about Ruiz is not used to fighting, guys that much heavy.
No,
I mean,
no.
3 weeks ago he was
He's
fighting
never
at
fought 130
122.
pounds in his life,
3
yeah.
weeks ago he was fighting at 122. Now here he's fighting at 130.
One of the most dangerous 130 pounders on the planet.
a guy with a big knockout ratio, so it's really unbelievable. Guys, we have a call from our friend. We have Nelson Vasquez, Nelson Fernandez, who's was one of the boxing commentators for HBO on the Spanish side, and we got him on the phone. We're gonna talk about Canelo Alvarez and Danny Jacobs fight coming up Cinco de Mayo weekend. I know it's way in advance, but I want to talk about this fight because this fight is going to bring a lot of excitement to boxing for the middleweight division.
Yes, sir.
We have on the phone with us Fernando Nelson Fernandez. You on there?
Hi, Joe. How are you?
All right, my friend. Great, good. How's the weather back in New York, buddy?
It's cold.
It's cold. Hey, baby, it's cold outside. Listen,
Be careful. You can't say that song anymore.
oh, my God.
Controversy.
Yeah. So anyway, tell me, brother, that we got Canelo Alvarez fighting Danny Jacobs. Now, Canelo Alvarez only has a one defeat. That was against Floyd Mayweather. And here we are. Now he's fighting a Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs, I interviewed Danny Jacobs about 3 weeks ago. And Danny Jacobs was telling me, Joe, I was surprised that they accepted me because we were not expecting that.
Me too.
I mean, Danny Jacobs looking forward to that fight. He said the reason why I accepted it because we feel we can beat him. And have you seen Canelo Alvarez with the great punching power that he developed? As he gone up in weight, he developed his punching power as well and his boxing skills. So I mean, you got to think about this is. Danny Jacobs when he fought Triple G. A lot of fans thought that he beat Triple G. He didn't get the decision, even though
Canelo did though.
Even though Danny Jacobs told me, Joe, I think I won that fight. Anyway, his stocks went up. It didn't go down. So now he's fighting Canelo Alvarez, probably his toughest opponent up to date. What do you think about that, Nelson?
I was also taken back a little bit, Joe, like you said, because everybody started to bad-mouthing Canelo, that he's taking easy fights. He went up to 168 to get that fight. And then all of a sudden he pulls the curtain on everybody and says, who's the toughest guy out there in 160 besides Triple G? And he went after Jacob. So my hat off to Canelo and his people for taking such a tough fight.
Yeah, you think Oscar De La Hoya is really risking it? I mean, that's his golden goose.
Yeah.
I mean, to put him up against one of the toughest guys out there. I mean, if he beats Danny Jacobs, then people will start taking Canelo Alvarez very seriously as a future Hall of Famer. Well, he's already a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But I mean, a future
An all-time great, yes, sir.
all-time great because he'll be fighting some of the good guys. They say he didn't duck this guy, he didn't duck that. He fought the best in their prime.
You're right. It comes to your mind about, Oscar knows something that we don't know, but as you know, I was a manager for many, many years, and you get to a point in your life that you say, I either have chicken salad or chicken, and I can't say the other words. On Canelo's part, we all know that he's not the other chicken whatever, He's a great fighter. He puts his punches together. He's very intelligent in the ring, and sometimes he baits you into thinking that he only has that combination, and then all of a sudden it was just a setup for him. Very intelligent fighter. And you guess what? So is Danny Jacobs.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Danny Jacobs is really one of the tough ones out there. I remember meeting Danny Jacobs when he was a teenager fighting in the Police Athletic League out here in Oxnard, California, in the tournament, PAL tournament. He was in for the semifinals. He got cut. Even though they had a headgear, he ended up getting a cut. And I remember they were stitching him up in the dressing room, back in the dressing room, the day before the finals. And when I went in there, they were stitching him up on top of a pool table. And I said, what? The doctor was stitching. He had like 2 or 3 stitches they were doing. And so when he won the middleweight championship at the Barclays Center in New York a number of years back, about 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, and he came up to me in the lobby of the hotel. We were staying at the same hotel, and he came up to me and says, Mr. Cortez, I want to tell you that I'm that fighter, if you remember me, I'm that young fighter that was getting stitched up in Oxnard, California, on top of a pool table. I said, oh, my God, that was you? He said, yes, that was me. But anyway, he's a nice kid. And they call him the Miracle Man because of, he has cancer. And so he's a cancer survivor. And here he is now.
Still fighting for
still fighting and fighting one of the best in the world right now, the middleweight division.
I think, Joe, and tell me if you think the same thing, I think that Danny is a good dog in this fight, meaning, don't put him out and say that because Canelo is Canelo, that there's not going to be a good opposition. The only thing that worries me on my side is that sometimes Danny gets a little crazy in there. He opens up to throw a hook and stuff like that, and Canelo, again, and I want to repeat this, he baits you into doing things, and he starts putting it in his mind. Mm-hmm. When I do this, he opens up. So that's my only concern, that Danny might get just a little overconfident and start opening up, because he's got a great left hook, and that Canelo can really overtake him with a straight right hand.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that Danny Jacobs is a fighter, has a big heart, but you're right that he can open up, and Canelo is, he's cut off for that kind of a fight. I think, because Danny has a height on him, but Canelo has that style. He's like a bull. He comes in there, good, moving side to side. He comes in. He doesn't come straight forward like he used to at the beginning of his career. Now he's moving side to side. He's a good body punch. He got a devastating left hook to the body and quick right hand. So it's going to be a little tough for Danny. Danny's going to have to try to keep him at bay and box him from the outside with quick combination. Throw 3 or 4 or 5 punches. Don't just throw 1 or 2. To keep Canelo more on the defense, you have to throw 3 or 4 or 5 punches in a row, then move away. Like when Joe Kazaki fought Jeff left hook Lacey. Left hook JC, he was beating everybody. He had great combinations, good punching power. The left hook was the most devastating punch. But when he fought a fighter like Joe Kazaki, who stay active in front of him, moving, and throwing 5 or 6, 7 punches in a row, he kept Lacey on the defense. And if you throw 5 or 6 punches, you're going to connect at least 2 or 3 of them, And that's what. And
also, he was crowding. He was crowding the left hook too.
Exactly.
So meaning that he wouldn't let him open up. He had to throw from the front stand. So by him crowding that left hook, all of a sudden that left hook by Jeff Lacey was obsolete.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. And that's what what's his name? Danny Jacobs has to do against Canelo. He got to stay on top of him. I mean, if you fight, I tell fighters, you want to win fights. Take a look at Joe Kazaki. He didn't have the biggest muscle physique, but he had the skills. He knew how to throw those punches, 4, 5, or 6 punches, bang, 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 bang. So what do? You got to cover up when all those punches are coming, And like I said, at least 2 or 3 will connect, and 2 or 3 will connect. What happens is the judges will say, well, you know what? The round might have been
Yeah.
competitive, but I got to go with the puncher who threw the most punches, even though
Correct.
he didn't connect.
Correct.
But in the judge's mind, boom, I give it to the fighter who threw most punches. You know, like I said,
You're
and
right.
Yeah, they
You're
go
right.
they go with the active guy.
they gotta be, you got to be covering all night long. And what happens at the end, the judge got to give it to the fighter who's more, not the aggressor, but throwing more combinations.
And the fact that they're fighting in Las Vegas, right, Joe? That makes a lot also, you know.
Yes, sir.
Danny Jacobs is going into not friendly territory, meaning that's the house that Canelo built, if you really want to call it that, because
I don't know if I call it that, Nelson. I don't know if I call it the house that Canelo built, but it is his house. You know, but I mean,
Yeah, he
people.
lives
And
there now, for
the
sure.
reason why I say that, there've been many great fighters come out of fighting out of Vegas, and you know, you had Mike Tyson, you got Floyd Mayweather,
Floyd, yeah.
and so many other great fighters come out of Nevada.
But he lives there now.
Yeah,
you're
but
right.
now all those guys moved out, and Canelo took.
He's got the deed.
Yeah, he got the deed for the property now.
He does. He didn't build it.
For
He just
real.
inherited
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
For
but,
real.
yeah. So he,
For real.
and they gave him a special rent too. He got a nice special rent.
He sure does.
Yeah, so you know, so he instead of him
Rent
paying
control.
the rent, they paying him money.
$23 million a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, $33
Oh,
million.
yeah,
a
I
fight.
was just thinking about what the gate was for his last Triple G one. But yeah, $33 million a fight's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
wow.
So
No,
Nelson,
but he's a great talent, and I can't wait for that fight myself, to be honest with you. I love Danny, and the way he fights. His people are very boxing knowledgeable, and guess what? Canelo's people have proof that they had a lot to do with Canelo and Canelo growing up in the sport,
Absolutely.
and they made him a true boxing great, without a doubt.
yeah, no question about it. Hey, fans, we're going to go into a little brief commercial. I want you to stay on the line, Nelson, because I want to keep on talking to you about what's going on. We'll be right back.
Coming soon, La Mansión Luxurious Assisted Living Residence is nestled on the northwest part of Las Vegas. La Mansión provides luxurious accommodations coupled with optimal care. Residents needing assisted care can rest easily knowing exceptional care is our standard. La Mansión strives to help residents forget they're living in an assisted living residence and works to create an atmosphere reminiscent of a home, better yet vacation. La Mansión is a family-owned and operated assisted living residence dedicated to providing seniors assistance with activities of daily living such as dressing, bathing, management of medication, while providing high quality of life to all our residents. Our residence consists of 12 luxurious suites and will offer the latest amenities, privacy, and comfort for each of our residents. You can reach us at lamansionlv.com or you can call 702-630-4810 for further information.
Okay, we're back here on the Fair Firm Show here with Joe Cortez and John Zimmel, my co-host, and we have a guest on the line, Nelson Fernandez, former HBO commentator on the Latino side. Nelson,
Yes, Joe.
okay, two nice fights. We got Gervonta Davis fighting Hugo Ruiz, and this is going to be for a 130-pound championship. What do you think about tonight with Gervonta Davis?
He's got a lot of talent, you know, and when he first started to come up, it's, you know, everybody said Mayweather was taking good care of him. Wait until he faces A-class opposition or A fighters. And guess what? He's come up the ranks, and he's shown that he's the real deal. I like him a lot, and I like the way he fights.
Yeah, he had a little problem with making the weight yesterday. He had to come back on the scale for the second time.
Oui.
3 times on the scale. And you know, Nelson, you've been in boxing a lot of years like myself. We know that even if you're knocking off 1 pound to make the weight, can make a big difference for your performance the night of the fight. So, I mean, Nelson, Gervonta Davis has the good skills and everything, but you know, I hate to see if fighters don't make the weight. I mean, he got stripped of his title a while back for not making the weight, and here he is coming back again. And I think he got to start thinking about moving up in division. The only thing that's against him is that he doesn't have the height. You see, I mean, Mike Tyson didn't have the height against the heavyweights, but I mean, he does. He's a tank. That's why they call him the tank. He can punch with either hand, but he has to adjust to these tall guys that are just a little bit, more difficult to reach.
Yeah, and what happens is not only did he, if he had to go back 2 or 3 times, like you say, Joe, I wasn't following that fight out, but that means that the night or the first day, as soon as he got up that day, he had to be 4 or 5 pounds over because, we dry him out, we put him in, try to do everything. And so by the time it only was a few pounds or 2 pounds or 1 pound, that means that he had to come down that day a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And, that's going to show up in the fight. I don't care if you hydrate properly, if you eat as much as you want, whatever. That comes out in the fight, Joe, and you know this very well. You can train for 8 weeks, in camp. But if you had a problem making the weight, when that first body shot comes, all of a sudden you go, oh my goodness, why didn't I run? Why didn't I do my all my exercises? Everything comes out in the fight, and it takes a lot of character out of you.
Yeah, and not only that, but Nelson, in boxing, and John, just to let you know, as a fighter, that was, sometimes when you have to, if you got to start. Not that I never had a problem with making weight, but I know that in boxing that affects you mentally as well, because that whole day you're mentally every minute of that day you're worrying about making weight. I gotta make weight. That kind of drains you right there in itself. Just not mentally. So I just hope that tonight it will have no effect on.
I hope so too.
On the tank.
Joe, that never happened with you and your brother. You guys were right on the scale every time, and I applaud you because, boy, you guys were not only the toughest guys in the ring that night, but you came in great condition at all times and right on weight. And I applaud you and your brother for doing that when you guys were fighting.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That you think way back of the days when I was fighting my brother Mike as well. But I remember we were in the amateurs. You were watching us, even in the pros. A lot of people, especially the amateurs, when I was winning those Golden Glove championships, the Easterns, the New York, the Nationals, people would say, my brother Mike. People look at us and say, "Hey man, you guys fight like pros. You guys are not amateurs, That's how they used to look at us. But anyway, without going down memory lane, I really appreciate that. And Nelson, don't go away. Fans, this is so nice. I'm so excited about having Nelson on the line with us today.
Yeah.
Because we go back many, many, many years, back to the 60s when I was fighting. And it seemed like it was only yesterday. And I still feel like I did back in those days. I know you too, Nelson.
I know.
We're going to go to a brief... Go ahead.
I'm glad whenever I get your call, I'm so glad, not only because I considered you a good friend, but a person I admire so much, Joe. So
thank you.
Once I see your number on coming up, I said, good, I'm going to talk to Joe today.
Appreciate that so much. Okay, Nelson, don't go away. Fans, we got a little bit more to talk about, and I tell you, it's going to get even better at the end of this show. Hold on for a minute. We'll be right back.
Coming soon, La Mansión Luxurious Assisted Living Residence is nestled on the northwest part of Las Vegas. La Mansión provides luxurious accommodations coupled with optimal care. Residents needing assisted care can rest easily knowing exceptional care is our standard. La Mansión strives to help residents forget they're living in an assisted living residence and works to create an atmosphere reminiscent of a home, better yet vacation. La Mansión is a family-owned and operated assisted living residence dedicated to providing seniors assistance with activities of daily living, such as dressing, bathing, management of medication, while providing high quality of life to all our residents. Our residents consist of 12 luxurious suites and will offer the latest amenities, privacy, and comfort for each of our residents. You can reach us at lamansionlv.com or you can call 702-630-4810 for further information.
Okay, we're back on the air here again with Joe Cortez with the Fair Firm Show and John Zimmerman, Mike Halls, and our special guest on the show, Nelson Fernandez from New York, New York. Nelson.
Yeah.
New York, New
Hi,
York.
Joe.
I always say New York is so nice. That's why they named it twice. New York, New York. But you know what? I think you would rather be out here where we got about 55-degree weather compared to your 10-degree weather you got back in New York.
You're not kidding. Although I'm out here trying to see my grandson score 18 points. He promised me he was going to score 18 points today in his game, so I'm looking forward to that.
Okay,
That's a lot, yeah.
now what game you talking about? Basketball or football?
Basketball.
Well, that's a little
basketball.
more doable, yeah.
Good power.
Okay,
Power forward.
basketball. Okay, you know, because I watched the Super Bowl game last week.
There, you can't score 18
That
points.
was the lowest
It's less than 18.
in the history of football. I mean, the Super Bowl game to get only 13 points total.
13 against 3. It was 16 points. Still, if your grandson does what he said he was going to do, he'll have scored more points by himself than both Super Bowl teams did. That's pretty impressive.
Ask him about it.
Hey, I got a question about you, Nelson. I got a question for you, Nelson. We got last week's fights. We were doing a little recap in the beginning of the show, talking about Sergey Kovalev coming back, and one thing we didn't really get a chance to touch on was Teofimo Lopez and how good he looked against Diego Magdaleno. Did you? What was your thoughts on that fight and really just all last week's fights in general?
Teofimo is a guy that has surprised me. You know, at the beginning, he came in with a lot of fanfare and everything, but I see giant leaps in this guy.
Oh, yeah.
And again, we talk about it every time we talk boxing with you guys, Johnny and Joe. The smartness of these people in the ring, you know, we can teach you everything in the gym, how to block, how to punch, how to move, but there's one thing that you can't teach, and that's the smart being in the ring. And Teofimo is very, very, very smart. I like him a lot.
And not only that, Nelson, but the punching power that he has.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, I mean, you see that guy
That's
coming
a
your way.
double threat right there.
It's like a locomotive train coming
like
your
wrecking
way.
balls, man.
And you better move out the way real quick. If he hits you, you're going down.
Yeah.
You know, he got. I met him already a couple of years ago, but I remember last year we went to an autograph signing event, and he had a baseball cap on. He said, "Joe, I want to give you this hat." He took it off. He autographed it to me. And I have that hat. I think I'm going to save that one, but I think this kid's going to go places.
I
in
think so
boxing.
too. That's a smart investment.
Yeah. He definitely has all the skills that it takes to be a good one. And Barbara Top Rank has them, and I think they're going to be their next golden goose for these guys. Because
I think so too, man.
because he's got it all. He got all the ingredients to be a good one. And you know, I think he's from Honduras, or his parents are from.
His parents are
Honduras,
Honduran.
and he came from Brooklyn, New York, and a lot of fans from Honduras are like, this will, if he makes it, which most likely he will, that's where he's going, he is going to be the first and only champion out of Honduras.
Yeah, he fought for them in the Olympics, so they like him a lot, man.
Yeah.
He's got a kinship with those people. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I like to,
And he's under a good banner. Top Rank
Yeah.
is
Yes.
no chicken liver, you know. And that's a great promoter. So he's in the right place with the right people.
You know, the other day at one of the fights, I was sitting there at ringside, and Bob Robin was sitting behind me. Said, "Joe, look at him." Talking about Teofimo Lopez. He's helping the ring girls in and out of the ring. He's holding the numbers for them. And he said, what is he doing, Joe? I said, listen, you know, he's having a good time. That's the kind of guy he is. He's a very humble young man, and we hope that he can stays grounded and keep himself focused, because he'll make it.
When you see him in interviews and stuff like that outside the ring, he always seems like such a nice, like you say, very humble man, or young man. But whenever he's getting kind of painted as a heel these days because of it. You know, he does little dances afterwards and stuff like that. I don't think he plays the villain role well. I think he's better as a just being like a people's champ kind of guy, because he's so likable.
So the question, Johnny, is, can he also sell hot dogs during the intermission?
He does everything else.
Yeah. And if he can't do it in boxing, we're sitting at the Yankee Stadium there.
Yeah, he could do it there.
He can sell a peanut
He's from
popcorn.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, selling.
Hot dogs now at Yankee Stadium are like $9.
There you
Okay,
go.
well,
he can make a good living
He
doing
can
that.
make a good tip. Peanut popcorn, Cracker Jack jelly apples at the Yankee Stadium. Okay. Well, Nelson, let me tell you, it's a pleasure having you on the show again
Seriously,
today.
thank you,
and
Nelson.
Same here.
God bless you. And
Same
in
here.
regards to our New Yorkers back there, tell them that we miss them, but I don't miss that cold weather. You take care, brother. You take care of yourself.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, and the same to you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Johnny,
Nelson.
You too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, fans, today's show was really exciting. Talking with Nelson Fernandez,
Absolutely.
retired HBO commentator,
Love having him on.
and retired. Whole HBO is retired now.
Yeah,
too.
well, once they didn't have him anymore, what
Yeah.
else were they even doing?
Anyway, fans, what I would say, fans, is that in boxing, Keep your guards up at all time. Protect yourselves at all time. And remember, I'm fair but I'm firm. Touch him up.
Fair but firm with the Hall of Fame boxing referee. I'm Joe Cortez for all of Las Vegas. Come on, guys. Let's touch him up. Clean fight. I'm Joe Cortez. Fair but firm.